Hey, to anyone who might be joining us, we'll be starting the show here in about a minute. So, as always, we love it when you comment below the episode and join in. We're doing a year-end wrap-up show. I feel like I was a little flat there, but
yeah, that was terrible.
I'll do better.
That was terrible.
You can only go up.
In the evening show, we'd like you to say retrospective.
Retrospective. Okay, got it. Wrote it down. All right, connecting the chat, and we're ready to go. You guys are good?
You can leave me alone. Can we switch seats?
Separate you?
Thank you, Davis.
Didn't say a word.
Yes. Feeling.
You familiar with projecting?
No, I don't do anything.
You're about to be.
I'm nothing. I'm so nice.
I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Oops.
Why did I even buy that for you? It's my own fault. I've indulged you.
All right, starting the commercial.
It's like my brother Cole. I used to poke him, and then he'd get mad.
He's the best
And then I'd
one.
rat him out to Mom.
Your younger brother, you did that to?
My older brother.
Have I met an older brother?
Cole? Sure.
Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wrong About Everything podcast. I am Twin Cities Sugar. And
Jesus.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's
I am
last year.
GOP strategist and Twin Cities Sugar, Brian McDaniel.
I'm former Republican Senate Majority Leader Amy Koch.
What is going on?
Is it my turn?
Yeah, sure.
I am small business attorney Davis Senseman.
It hasn't been that long, people.
It's been long for me.
Yes.
I was on my sabbatical, which earlier I called a syllabus.
I am a Democratic strategist in the Puerto Rican heat. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong about everything.
not
Yes.
making it to 10 years.
Davis back from their syllabus.
From my syllabus.
When is 10 years? It's got to be.
May,
May it'll be 10 years.
which is pretty.
That's a
All right,
long
are we
time.
finally going to
should
have an
have
event?
to
Someone should throw us a party.
I know.
Yeah.
Should we just
Yeah.
finally have an event? We should need a VIP section for the
If you
Patreon.
Yeah.
don't throw us a party, you're kind of being a dick.
Yeah.
You have until May.
Yeah.
Listen.
If you're not a dick
Yeah.
and you want to stay that way, you have to plan a party.
That's true.
Our first big event, not our
Patrons, they're exempt. But
not
the
our,
rest of you
not
need
our
to
first
throw us a fucking
episode,
party.
but our first big event was the Republican convention in 2014.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I
Where
don't remember.
where
that. I wasn't
someone
there.
Well, you weren't there.
I came
someone
in
slapped.
2015.
That was Mike Franklin.
Oh, there was a slap.
There was a slap and someone got called a
Andy
cream puff.
Parrish.
What?
Andy Parrish.
Slapped
Andy Parrish slapped someone.
Kolb.
Jeff Kolb,
and
former
said,
city
called him a
council
cream
member.
puff.
and called him a cream puff, which is interesting. Yeah.
I don't even remember what were the divisions at that time. What was going?
2014? I don't even know.
Kurt Bells.
Yep, it was hotly contested.
I'd have to go
I don't
back
even
and-
know. Why were people slapping each other?
That was I don't know. I think that was when
Trump.
the,
It wasn't even a presidential.
No,
it was the
it
party
wasn't Trump.
when the party was deciding was still reeling over whether marriage.
It was a
whether
governor's race.
Davis.
It
Yeah,
would-
whether
would
we
have been a
could
governor's
get married.
race.
It was whether they were so mad about it.
Oh, they were
So it
so
would have
mad.
been
By then we
Jeff
were
Johnson
married.
and
Yeah.
oh, and Julianne Ortman and stuff. I think that was the fight.
Yeah, it was not interesting. So
Yeah.
unlike now,
Seems a
where-
little silly to fight over that.
But I know it was like I was gonna say like that was boring. But now the world's ending and
Yeah.
we're heading to civil war and like so.
Now we're fighting over democracy and whether
Yeah.
it continues.
Yeah, but whether we can take people off
Not
the ballot just so
internally.
we don't like them.
Right.
Yeah, whether, like,
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's talk about 2023.
No,
because-
we're not there yet.
we
Because we got to welcome everybody to the Minnesota Credit Union Network studio, deep in the recesses
Yes, that's good.
of MBC Studios here in Northeast. We'd like to direct you to our website at www.wrongaboutEverything-podcast.com.
Yes.
Also, check out our digital blue boards, thanks to our friends at Blue Ox Media.
I don't think those are up anymore. Stop
be.
thanking them.
Oh, they might be.
I want some more
and then-
proof. I want some proof before we continue to thank
All right,
them
let's-
for something that's
Okay,
in the past.
your job this weekend is just to drive the 694, 494 loop and see
No,
if you see it.
let's assign that
Let's
to the
assign that to
listeners.
somebody
It's what-
else.
So
If you don't want to be a dick.
if you don't
Yeah.
want to plan
Drive
a
the
party, you don't want to be a
694.
dick. Just drive around and find a billboard and let us
And we
know.
also want to recommend everybody give our producer Gabe a call. You ever want to do a
No,
podcast
don't give him a call. He doesn't need all
would
people
never
calling him.
or an email?
He'll never answer. He's listening.
He's listening.
He won't answer your text when you say, "Hey, Gabe, I'm
I
here."
think when I said
Can you
that, he
open
went-
this Fort Knox door?
I think he's like nodding, like, yeah, I wouldn't answer that phone.
Yeah. Well, this is for
He's about to cut us
Email
off.
him.
it's for business. You ever want to do a podcast? Obviously, we do it, so it ain't that hard. You should give Gabe a call. Running a fine business here, which you guys should be more appreciative of. With your sassy attitudes. Also,
That's what you get with us.
you got a lawsuit
Yeah.
on
Maybe.
either side, probably.
Not a lawsuit. No, they're criminal defense attorneys.
No, they do lots of stuff.
They do other kind of suing too, I think.
Oh, okay. Just don't call you for suing, but
No,
do
don't-
call Mike
don't call
Bryan.
me. Yeah, call Mike
I'm
Bryan.
useless.
Bryan.
Our good friends at Bradshaw and Bryant, their entire team of attorneys and staff are dedicated to providing the legal advice you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve. If you have questions about how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense,
Jesus.
Don't hesitate to contact
don't
me.
hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Good save, Amy. Please contact them at
1-800-770-7008
Or
go
at
to MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Happy New Year, Mike.
Happy New Year, Mike.
No snitches
No snitches. Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
and not represented by Mike Bryant.
No. Man of integrity.
Yeah. Sorry. So what are we doing? This
So
is
here's what we're going to do
confusing
today.
episode.
We are going to alternate. We're going to talk about the top 10, not the top 10 stories, but kind of like our top 10, the ones that we found most compelling with a fair amount of recency bias.
Yeah. We can't remember what
mixed
happened.
We don't know. Probably if we looked back at January,
What
we'd be like,
happened in
holy shit.
January?
Ours goes back in time. We did it Democrats and Republicans.
Yes.
I should say.
So what we're going to do is Democrats are going to do 5 stories, Republicans are going to do 5 stories. We're gonna intermix them, and we would love you should reach out to us and tell us what do you think the biggest stories were, because maybe we'll talk about them next week.
Because these, and I think at least the picked stories I don't know what you guys picked. I didn't look at your thing.
You weren't here early enough. We discussed it with David.
Yeah, but
Not much.
ours all I think will have implications in 2024.
Yes. Yeah. Most of ours
so
also
ours.
look.
Yeah,
forward.
so were ours, like Hunter Biden.
Yeah,
When he is on the ballot, it's gonna be.
that's going to be terrible for him.
Well, I don't know. We are going to.
He's gonna be a terrible
We are going
candidate.
to talk about the big guys' polling numbers, which have something to do with Hunter. But anyway,
God, it's so stupid. All right, go on.
no, you go first.
Oh, we're going first. All right.
Go for it.
All right, so our first big story, top 5 big stories of 2023 is Supreme Court corruption. I was thinking today, like it was so hard to have a full list of all the things. There's the things that have come out in the last year. One that Clarence Thomas, well, first that in like 2000, like that he almost resigned.
Yeah.
threatened
He
to
was like,
resign
"This
from
is
the bench.
boring, and I'm not making enough money."
I'm not making enough money, which set the rich people to work, and they came up with some good plans for him, including buying his mother's house for him. The Harlan Crow, the man who wins the award for like
villain name.
Villain who sounds like a villain, who owns a statue garden of dictators.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. That picture that they have, that portrait that was painted that has Clarence Thomas and all the people who buy him is sitting in that garden. That's that garden allegedly. Oh no, it's confirmedly.
And Samuel
the,
Alito.
The difference is they just don't give a fuck.
We'll get to
And Alito was also he to a lesser extent, but it was like unpeeling an onion,
Yeah.
and like there was nothing you could do.
Right.
It was like, oh,
And they're-
also this guy took you on lots of vacations you didn't report.
But wait, Davis, didn't they finally announce a big?
Oh yeah, code of conduct.
Yeah.
That has no enforceability. They're like, listen,
that is actually less than what.
these are the ethics we'll aspire to. You can give less gifts to a member of the Minneapolis or St. Paul City Council than you can to a Supreme Court justice.
But why would you?
Fair point. And John Roberts, when asked to testify before Congress about an ethics code, he respectfully declined and said because of separation of powers, which is hilarious because in most definitions of separation of power does not mean that we stand above you and you have no ability to.
Also, that ethics code is weaker. It weakened the federal recusal statute. It basically said, you know how we had the one law about recusing ourselves?
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
So it's been a banger year for the court, and not surprisingly, and I mean I'll say the silver lining about this year when it comes to the court is that the press has finally stopped treating it like it's a temple of the gods, and only reporting on decisions and not and actually digging in and finding out what's going on and all the corruption behind it. It turns out it's a fucking lot.
So this is kind of interesting. So a friend of mine
started now that
for
more conservatives are in charge,
For-
or
for-
maybe it's been there all.
for Christmas.
You gotta
you're
trip
saying-
on
you're
Harlan.
saying
I'm
that-
not surprised
that-
at all that the press is now going up to the Supreme Court. I get it.
But they didn't
because they're
find it.
corrupt. Yes, because they're corrupt. Oh my God.
But they've never
You
nobody's
guys
been corrupt on it before.
No, Abe
All
Fortas
the
was actually had to resign from the court because it was like a $10,000 thing, because of the appearance of impropriety. Impropriety. I mean, this is unprecedented corruption. I mean, I'm not surprised you don't see it, but that's what it is.
It doesn't
I'm not
matter what
saying
we
it's
see.
not a
The American
problem.
people don't know don't know the names of any of the people you just mentioned. But what I was gonna say before you guys started talking over
People
me.
are dumb. We should keep corrupting.
No, I'm just saying. Well,
I guess.
I think you think it's a big election issue. It's not.
I
you guys
did-
laugh
I
at
didn't
Hunter
say-
Biden, who everybody knows.
I did not.
No, that's
when did
not
I
actually
say it's
true.
a big
It's not
election
a big
issue?
election issue. Is that
but-
what we were doing here?
Yeah,
I thought we were doing
well, that's what you
news of
said.
2020.
No, I'm talking about his
No,
intro.
what I said was that that polling shows that respect for the court and its
Yes.
opinions
It's
is
in
at
the
historic lows because people believe them to be what they are, a partisan institution.
Conservative.
A partisan institution.
Well, yeah. I mean, the
It was
Supreme
never,
Court.
That's all I'm saying is it was never partisan before. There was never anything
Well,
wrong with
it
the
was.
courts.
It became
I mean,
partisan
it
when
flips
they
now
decided Bush v. Gore.
when conservatives
Yeah,
took the-
When they
Amy,
decided
you guys-
Bush v. Gore,
like,
and then there were
When you stole a Supreme
Yeah.
Court seat from Barack Obama, then came up
Court
with the
didn't do
rule,
that.
came up with the rule that Republicans did that. Yes, your party, you did that. And then
By getting rid of-
Gorsuch,
by the nuclear option, which the Democrats did.
no one has done what the Republicans did. But 3 appointees are Trump appointees because Mitch McConnell just Democrats don't get appointments anymore. That's the new rule. Like that, and
they don't. Here's the thing: they don't. That party doesn't care about corruption. Look at their president, their leading presidential candidate.
Yeah, he took all the money from those
From Burisma? No,
for
what?
Burisma, yeah.
Or the Chinese.
The Chinese
No,
too, yeah. Big guy, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Look.
Yeah, Trump sucks. Shouldn't be
I mean,
on there.
That
I
party
don't have-
is like.
I actually have a problem with it, but I'll say that. I also think that the Republicans went too far in the Merrick Garland thing.
Yeah.
But I'll actually say that. You guys ignore the fact that the nuclear option was instituted
You
by
don't-
the Democrats.
you don't-
which
you
was-
don't-
Wait,
you don't
we
like
weren't
that it got
talking.
used
No,
against you.
I am actually I'm 100% fine. That is an undemocratic thing. It should not exist.
Okay,
The filibuster.
We're talking
but
about
that's not what
that man
happened
getting
when
paid
with
millions
Gorsuch.
of dollars by people who have business before
And the
the
American
court.
people say cloture. That's how you stop a. That's how you stop a.
Well, that's how you stop this
filibuster.
conversation.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna call,
I mean, which
I'm gonna call the
happens. I
question.
just want to point out which happens a lot. We bring things up, and then it's like, let us make a joke about it. The corruption on the Supreme Court fucking sucks. It sucks that man has been bought and paid for by people who have business in front of the court. It sucks that we don't really have a nonpartisan Supreme Court in this country. It sucks that we have had guests on this show who acted like they had never heard of Clarence Thomas getting all this money. It sucks.
I think if someone can bring me an example of when Clarence Thomas voted differently than he would have, I think.
How do we know?
We don't know. But what I'm
it's
saying
the
is,
appearance of impropriety.
well,
That's what ethics laws are for.
I don't
I
disagree.
think if Ruth Bader Ginsburg had done this, you guys would have hit the fucking roof.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, what I was trying to say back before things got nasty was that at Christmas time, a friend of mine had a relative, because she was a Democrat, gave her a big, huge picture of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and my friend brought it into our office and looked at it and said, "Well, she should have resigned when she was alive.
Well, she should have.
Would have solved a lot of these problems."
It's true. She should have. She should have.
Yeah.
But Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed within 6 weeks, because the rule that what's his name, Mitch McConnell had previously. We should have put in Mitch McConnell's.
Oh yeah, his
brain farts. on
Yeah,
this, but
his
we'll save
glitches.
for
That could be
next
part of your Spanxer thing.
You don't get more.
You don't get more.
He could go in Congress,
year. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though he's not.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So we're.
Okay.
So,
Roger?
Republican, do you want to go with one of yours?
You go ahead first.
Okay. So one of the ones that Amy and I brought up, and because we agree, there are many, many, many different threats to democracy, and they are all concerning in their own way. And we are super concerned with states attempting to use the 14th Amendment to remove Trump from primary ballots, as we've seen in Colorado and in Maine. I think that this is very undemocratic. I'm very happy. I think Minnesota and Michigan and California are taking a very measured, appropriate approach. We talked about this just a couple weeks ago, so I'm not going to go into great detail, that this is not what the 14th Amendment was intended to do as it pertains to the president. I think it is in the plain language of the 14th Amendment, and also in how it has been used and not used throughout the years. And I think that this is something that we all need to keep an eye on, because doing things that threaten democracy to try to save democracy is not the way to do it. And I think I really did appreciate, and I'm not saying this with any sarcasm, I really did appreciate Javier's very measured approach about this topic, saying this is not how you defeat Trump. And I think that's not how you defeat Trump.
Whether you agree or not with the decision,
Yeah,
of the
I don't
Supreme
think
Court, I
it's-
think it's the 14th Amendment. This is
Also,
not the
it's
way
a
to be.
joke because it's going to go to the Supreme Court,
Right.
and we already know what's going to happen.
But and I mean, to be clear, my nuance on this is I think one, the 14th Amendment is actually this. It is very clear. This is exactly what it's about. It's like that. From my perspective, what I said, this is not how we defeat Trump, and this is an example of where you actually, I think, have to, and what they will do, what the so-called originalists on the Supreme Court will do, is actually apply different current historical standards to the language in order to decide, which is how I think that we need to always operate. But I don't pretend to be in the minds of the framers the way they pretend to. And to be clear, it's conservative jurists who have put this theory forward, who have been pushing this, and they're the ones who are pushing these lawsuits as well. And again, I do not agree with it. I don't think this is the way, but it's all that it should that we can get rid of a despot. On the one hand, on the other, that it actually is what the 14th Amendment is about and what it's for, and so
well, it's for removing people. It is not as it pertains to the presidency, because earlier versions of the 14th Amendment did specifically mention the president,
and
then they took it out. So, but anyway, I think that if he is ultimately convicted, I think that is certainly something to consider. But I think twofold: one, the 14th Amendment, I think, was not meant to pertain to the presidency. And two, not being convicted of any of these things means that it will be used time, just like with now with impeachment. It's going to be freaking used every 2
Everybody's
years.
getting impeached now.
And I think it's a dangerous precedent and
And
undemocratic
honestly,
and a threat.
impeachment, by the way, started with the Republicans and Clinton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Total F up on their part.
Yep.
So we can say, so I will say that.
You think presidents should be allowed to perjure themselves?
Oh, Christ.
That's a high crime as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're a high crime.
I'm a high crime. All right, Democrats.
Yeah.
Number 2. This past year was our first year without Roe v. Wade, with Roe v. Wade gutted. And we saw that, contrary to what the Republicans, who for decades and decades said this is a states' rights issue, now all the Republican presidential candidates are saying, like Nikki Haley, are saying, you know what? We should have a national ban. And the people of the United States have overwhelmingly, when they had a chance to vote, said no. There is an undefeated record of states who have put this on the ballot losing. Huge, big, gigantically, because it drives turnout, because people do not want the United States government and these dipshits in the federal. They get nothing done, which is one of the things we're going to talk about later. And then they're like, we are so incapable of doing our jobs, but we'd like to be inside your uterus and decide what you and your doctor can do.
Yep.
And it's been cruel. It's been used to chase people out of their states. The number of people traveling to other states is huge, and now certain states are trying to say, oh, we're going to make it a crime to travel. Read the fucking Constitution. That's not how it works. Read the Commerce Clause, friends. Understand cases. You don't get to criminalize someone leaving your state. And the Republicans will continue to lose on it. They are the dogs that caught the car, and now they don't know what to do, and they don't have a united stance on it. And one of them will say states' rights, and another one will say, no, we should have a federal ban. And the people of the United States, kind of no matter what state you're talking about, have said, get out of my doctor's office. Leave women alone.
And I think one of the things that is interesting about this that I think was unanticipated, but just in terms of how much the culture has changed from the day of, like, Jane Roe was literally anonymous, right? Where and the culture has changed dramatically in terms of what is speakable and what people say. And so the stories, the dramatic stories, are not things that people are hiding from and feeling shame about. That, like, I mean, I'm sure there are people who are, but thankfully there are women coming forward and sharing their stories. I mean, just today, the Fifth Circuit said that Texas can ban emergency abortions even if though the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services said a federal statute takes priority over state laws prohibiting the procedure. That is literally going to condemn women in Texas to death. Like,
yes.
That this only applies in the case of when a woman's life is in danger. So Texas went to bat to say, no, we should be able to ban abortions even if the woman's life is in danger. So the women will literally die because of this, and this is like we talked about before. It will be an issue continuing because these stories are just horrific and
it won. The right to abortion won in states like Ohio, states like Kentucky.
Kansas
is going
last year.
Kansas, yeah.
is going on the ballot probably in Florida, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, and South Dakota in an election year. And, you know, they credit abortion being on the ballot with Andy Beshear keeping his seat in Kentucky and with Glenn Youngkin not getting control of the state legislature because he thought he was like, I got it. Me, this dude who has no uterus, I got the answer. It's going to be a 15-week. That's when and the people said no. The people said no over and over and over again. And it's actually been refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Men can have uteruses now.
I didn't say they couldn't. I said he is a man who does not have a uterus.
Should not assume.
All right, I'll lighten it up with some Senate treason and and some Botox, some Republican Botox. So two legislators.
What is Republican Botox?
Well,
Oh, you know.
Santos.
Yeah.
Let her
His
tell.
expenses.
Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
thought you meant there's a
first of
specific
all,
kind of Botox.
Some
for
Senate treason comes from DFL, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, who it turns out just a huge traitor, just traitor in everywhere, and also trading, and apparently only likes to get paid in gold bars. And so he likes to go on the World Wide Web, www.google.com, and ask, how much is one gold bar worth?
Can I have a question?
Yes, sir.
Ask a question. And this, I'll throw it open to the group very briefly, not to throw you off. But what's bullion?
I think it's just a coin.
That's a coin. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
Oh.
He doesn't like bullion. Bullion.
What,
he
what,
wants
a whole
how
bar.
do you
he doesn't
pronounce
like a
how do you
treasure
pronounce
chest of
the
bullion.
thing that is the hold
he
on
likes stacks of bars.
bullion? That's bullion. What is
No.
what is soup stock?
No,
Bullion.
same thing. I think it's the same word.
Oh
Yeah.
You know how English is.
This got way off
It's like
track.
pear and pear.
Yeah.
You dum-dums. Like traitor.
All right.
Anyway, just recently, Bob Menendez stepped in. So he was in trouble because he took gold bars and other considerations from the Egyptian government in exchange for giving them special treatment. But now the well-known human rights, I don't know. They're just like after the World Cup, everyone knows that how Qatar deals with most human beings. They are very corrupt. But Bob Menendez is now on the hook for taking gold bars from them as well. And maybe a watch. And I think tickets to the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm
And
Bob
didn't
Menendez for
he-
cash for gold.
He was
Didn't he do something before?
Formula One tickets. Sorry, it was Formula One
And
tickets.
then
then-
he Googled how much is a.
I feel like he was a criminal before, but then somehow got off
Yeah, no,
on
there
it,
were
right?
other things, but it's Jersey, so they're all
Yeah.
like,
they were
fine.
like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
go
yeah,
back,
yeah.
you
And
go back
honestly,
there, buddy.
He's still sitting in the Senate. No one's calling on him to resign.
No, that's
John
not true.
Fetterman called on him
Oh,
to resign.
Fetterman. Well, Fetterman has been.
And-
yes. Okay, sorry. John Fetterman has asked him to resign. But apparently, not
No,
many other
and-
people seem to care.
No, that's not like there are a bunch of Democrats in New Jersey who have
Yeah.
called on him to resign. He literally here's what he has done.
does John Bon Jovi
Here's what
think?
he has done in those meetings, and he's done this
Bruce
in
Springsteen?
Congress. He goes in there and he says, "Just remember, I've beat this before, and I have a long ass memory." I'm not even like.
He's
Yeah.
terrifying. And as is his wife. Apparently, his wife brokers a lot of these deals with the Qatari
Kitty?
sheikhs.
Yeah, she took.
He literally is cutting deals with sheikhs.
Kitty Menendez?
Have you seen the picture of her? I'm not she's it's
I don't like
it's
her.
like
I
an
don't
episode
like
of
her.
Mob Wife. But
Yeah.
no, it's just like she looks
Like the Long Island medium.
Well, she just
Yes.
dresses like you'd be like,
But-
where did all that
but a
money
lot more
come
lavish.
from?
I like her too.
I did
Like,
too.
She's great.
Teresa
Teresa, yes.
Caputo.
Teresa Caputo.
All right, so that's Bob Menendez, and then the other side of course, I mean, this guy was everywhere. It was George Santos, and this is it's not really traitor. It's actually just sort of.
He just
It's
used
kinda
his
funny.
money. He
I
just
actually
used
enjoyed
his
him.
donations.
He used his campaign. Well, first of all, he lied about literally every part of his life. He is a compulsive liar about everything, even about how much he lies. He said he was Jew-ish,
Yeah.
which meant
Well,
that
first he said he was a Jew,
Right.
and then
He
when
said he was
caught, he said, "I
Jewish."
meant I'm Jewish,"
I'm sorta.
which is literally like a
he
Borscht
lied
Belt.
about where he went to school. He lied
Yes.
about helping a guy with
a
his
job.
sick dog.
Oh God!
He lied-
And he stole money. He
Right.
had a GoFundMe for that
It
sick
was like
dog.
$2,000 or something. He just took $2,000. Then he took his campaign funds, and no one's surprised about this. He bought
Hermes bags.
Hermes bags,
Hermes bags.
Botox. I mean, honestly,
Is he
pretty
continuing to
awesome.
do drag? Because why
Now-
is he buying Hermes bags?
he was ejected. Spoiler.
Kind of ejected,
He,
yes.
he was called. I read a story just recently about his neighbor. He's got a Republican neighboring district, a Republican that represents the neighboring district, and he was actually the first one to call on him to resign, within a week. Because we found out about George Santos. Apparently, the DFL. Operative that was in charge of research, Oppo research, couldn't find anything wrong with George Santos.
The New York Democrats are in disarray, but they need to fire every Oppo
that was
researcher
nuts.
in that
couldn't
state.
find it. It was a swing district. George Santos got in, and a week in, Everyone knew
You could have
all the
Googled
stuff.
George Santos lies, and you would have literally found a treasure trove of people like that dog guy who was
They
like,
should hire you.
Wait,
just
wait,
put it
wait,
in
wait, wait.
quotes.
This just in, the neighboring conservative district that Amy just mentioned, Representative Boebert just moved there.
No,
Great.
Yeah, there you go.
Anywho, I
Oh,
thought this
Lauren.
this was one of my favorite parts of 2023 is George Santos.
where is
Because
he
it just
there?
it kept
Why is he
giving.
doing his Nixon? I'm not a crook.
I am not a crook.
Well, anyway, he stepped down. Or no, he didn't step down.
No,
he
he
was
didn't.
ejected.
He
Yeah.
said,
And then we
"I'll
won't
go
have George
kicking and
Santos to kick
screaming."
around anymore.
And let's give the Republicans have not had a great year, because one of the things Amy said was, what positive Republican things can we find?
He literally didn't do anything.
But this is one where he was ejected from the House, which is under Republican control. So they did expel one of their own, and I will give credit where credit is due. I think that was
But
a very
honestly, he's
was
better
more
than
Democrats
Menendez
voted
and his
for it
wife.
than
Well,
Like,
but-
these are less egregious than what Menendez and his wife have been doing.
oh, not even close.
Not
Did
even
it
close.
before.
Light
I mean, they
treason,
put- they-
some
they
light
both
treason.
are
Let's
thick.
be clear. Menendez is just better at it.
Yeah.
He's like the
I
thing
don't know.
about
He,
Santos.
is he, though? He had
Is
gold
he?
bars
Yeah.
in like
How
a
much
jacket
is a
pocket.
gold bar worth? Siri,
I'm just
how much is
saying.
a gold bar worth?
No, I'm just saying he's gone to
Alexa,
trial
how does
before he
one
was
launder
found. But
money?
Well, that's true.
I'm not like. I'm just saying like. Donde se pierda me quiero encontrar yo.
Oh, I know. See,
Where that man gets lost, I'd like to find myself. Basically, like that dude. I mean, like he's sort of. I don't. That dude is like cockroach. He's like a cockroach or
there's
Cher.
his wife.
I don't know. Like I don't know
got
that
a
he'll ever
pretty
be.
white
Menendez, yeah.
Menendez.
Well, does
Yeah.
he go on trial in Jersey? Is that part of the reason why he's gotten off on these things?
Yeah,
Gold bars. He
sure have his peers that are like, hey,
Hey,
I think it's fine here.
who doesn't have
I don't-
bullion?
What? He's traded with the Qatari government.
Bullion. I thought we were
That's
talking about the
fine.
soup.
I love soup.
Yeah, I'm just confused. Like, where did they put him on trial,
In fact,
and what happens next?
Menendez called Santos and says, "Hey, buddy, never steal small."
They did talk,
Exactly.
didn't they? Didn't
Yes.
didn't
It's
Santos
a
say
jury
something
just of
about
like
that?
people made up from the Jersey Shore. Snooki.
The situation.
Snooki, the situation.
Ron.
And they're all just like, Jay, wow. They're like, that's fine.
They're like, he seems okay.
That's a jury. That's his
Sammy
jury.
Sweetheart.
His jury is Jay Wow.
Sweet.
That's the foreman.
They're drunk and punching each other.
Jim
He's
Tan
fine.
Laundry. All right.
All right.
All right,
Democrats.
let's do our. We can do our sort of related one. One of our top 5 stories is Congress gone wild, and this is just a catch-all category. We had Santos in there. We had trials of Kevin McCarthy. So Kevin,
was in,
Kevin, we
he was
hardly
out.
knew ye. Tommy Tuberville holding up like
For nothing.
for appointments and then giving it up and then not. The Boebert hand
job.
The
Heard around
that
the
was-
world.
and then we threw in there Dean Phillips, who today complained to Chad Hartman that the Democratic Party wants to bleed my campaign to death. I'm like, hey, buddy, I think you're doing a pretty good job of that yourself. You're behind what's
Yeah.
what's
I honestly
Marianne?
forgot he was running.
What's
Marianne
Marianne
Williamson.
Williamson.
Marianne
I
Williamson.
think a lot of people.
I did.
Marianne
And
Wilson.
sorry, Dean. He's friend of the podcast, but I did forget.
Can we stop saying that at this point? I mean, he's
No.
an
Also-
acquaintance of the podcast.
Also, the 118th Congress was the most unproductive in history.
Yeah.
They got nothing done because they were doing all this other. They
We're
were.
voting for speakers.
Well, we got
They
Mike
did do
Johnson.
that a lot.
They voted
did do
a lot
that a
for
lot.
speaker.
They did that a lot.
It was
Yeah, we went through like 4 or 5 iterations.
Yeah.
it was wild. And Tom Emmer had a brief moment where we were like, "There's going to be a Minnesotan speaker," and then no,
Oh, but maybe there'll be a Minnesotan president.
sure.
What?
Oh, Dean Phillips.
Did you already forget he's running again? They already forgot he's running
Is
again.
Tom
Listen.
Emmer going to get in the race?
Listen,
Like-
we are under strict orders from the Democratic Party to bleed his campaign
Yeah.
to death.
Who? What?
That's I got my marching
All-
orders.
you literally already forgot.
I
again.
forgot about him.
Yes.
See, ugh.
I am. We were talking about this off the air, but I am like, as the person who goes on the person who was on the show, I am worried about that human.
Yeah.
What is seriously what happened to him? What, like, something happened. Did one of his wife's horses kick him in the head? That was one theory. There's something very weird.
Yeah.
'cause,
I think it's what we said. Like,
Do you think
I
it's like a midlife crisis?
because it started with him just saying like Biden isn't our best candidate, which I think polls are showing.
and saying Biden is old, which is objectively true.
That's
right.
that's
right.
a
So
true.
it started
That's
with like
a true
voicing
statement.
a thing that a lot of people did, and then it turned into, and I'm also the one.
Well, yeah. At first it was like,
Which
but
is
I'm
where
not
I
the
feel
one.
like he lost
and then it
Davis.
was like, I am the one.
Someone
and now
should
it's like,
run.
I am the one, and you are the enemies. And it's like, what are you doing?
It's wild. It's wild. I feel like we didn't get a Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wasn't this when
She did okay.
Well, she dressed
Compared
like
to Lauren Boebert.
She dressed
Boebert
like
had a moment.
like Elsa for
Beetlejuice.
Marjorie Taylor Greene did scream at the like a
the-
low class
Yeah.
something or other
But
at
she
the
wa-
State of the Union, but that's pales in comparison now.
But she did have an interesting outfit, that Elsa queen, like evil queen.
I feel like she and Lauren Boebert were like vying for like coolest, like
I
little
think Boebert
kids.
won.
Them fighting
Yeah.
with
vaping
them
in a
fighting each
theater
other.
and
And the
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
and now
and then
Boebert
she
has
pulled
to.
the "Do you know who I am?"
You know who I am.
Oh, that's the
And then
worst.
she
Yeah.
said
You
she
cannot
did
do
it,
that.
and then it was on video.
Yeah.
For those listening to this as a podcast, you don't want to see the hand motion that Davis just made because it was inappropriate.
I think it
Was
was
it
entirely
accurate, though?
appropriate.
I didn't
What?
say
A congresswoman did it.
Yeah,
I didn't say inaccurate.
What was it again? Davis?
my hand motion.
Yeah, I don't think it was that.
Yeah, it was. She
Yeah.
did
What
that.
happened? Did
yeah,
she?
Yeah,
yes.
she was giving him a
In
hand
the
job.
theater.
And he was-
Andy's a Democrat.
I thought
And
it
he's
was
a
more
Democrat.
like this.
That
It
was the part where
more
she's-
like this.
she's
I thought
like-
it was more like
All
a
right,
pet.
all right.
It was a full-on.
All right.
Is that how you do it? 'Cause
Well, I
that
thought
is-
that's what she did. I'm not saying that's how I do it. I'm
A
saying
pet.
All right.
yeah. All right. Okay. That's your,
All right,
your guys. Your
podcast
turn.
gone wild.
Yeah, your
All right. Well, ours ties into that
Yeah.
because we also mentioned Dean Phillips for a couple different reasons. Because this has been quite the character arc. Because from our point of view, it seemed very principled of him to be criticizing the president for obvious cognitive issues, for his age, for his potential inability to beat Trump, and how important that was to the Democrats. Things started out with him kind of being, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington a little bit, kind of being one of the only people willing to say the emperor has no clothes. Then, as we just discussed, it kind of morphed into, I hate saying this because a vanity project at best.
Yeah.
A vanity project, which has led to him not having much option, but not running again for CD3, the third congressional district, which had been a long time red to pink district, and since Dean first won the seat, has been getting bluer and bluer and bluer. Now it appears as though there's a couple of different people running, but probably the perceived front runner is Senator
was a representative senator
Kelly Morrison,
Yes.
who is in the Minnesota Senate, which is under Democrat control by one vote. So presuming that Senator Morrison becomes Congresswoman Morrison, then that takes her district and puts it into play. I would still say it's a Dem-leaning district.
It's a split House district. There's a Republican House member. You know what I like about Senator Morrison, though? I'm going to say this because there was a lot of people talking about getting in the race, and I will say this, that oftentimes what women will do when they're running for office, they'll stand back or
Yeah.
they'll wait, right?
Yeah.
They'll say, well, I don't know, is somebody else going to run? And there were some big names that we talked about, right? Like Secretary of State Steve Simon, Representative Zach Stevenson. There were some other names that were talking about getting in that race, and Senator Morrison jumped in and ran. And I would just say for the women out there, that's how you do it.
Get it.
And so often we don't sit around waiting for the better candidate. You're the better candidate. Just get in.
That's right.
Just get in. Believe in yourself and run your race. And you win, and you lose, and that's just how it is. And so I will say to Senator Morrison, well done.
And she's in the Senate, so if she
is
if
not
she
up
isn't
for
the
re-election.
candidate, she could just go back to the
But she
Senate.
will almost certainly win. I mean,
Ron Harris, which I mean, I don't
CD3, right?
get the impression that he's going to beat her, but also, I'm
I
not,
suspect she'll get the endorsement. I suspect she'll win CD3. So
Yeah, I mean, I would.
So then that will leave.
They
that
know
open.
her.
But if she,
Some way,
but if
yeah.
she
There will
runs
probably be a special
and
after
loses,
the election.
she can go back to the
Right,
Senate.
exactly.
But I suspect if she wins, then there'll be a special
Yes,
election
yes.
for that seat.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right.
And anything can happen. So while I do think that that's a blue leaning seat, anything can happen, and that would completely change. You guys are going to talk about the trifecta coming up very soon. That would definitely change that quite significantly. So there is a threat and an opportunity here for the Democrats.
Yeah.
So over to you guys.
Yeah, let's go with trifecta.
So much winning.
Wait, let me just preempt the whining by saying the trifecta. The best thing that happened to trifecta, it made our very good friends very rich.
That's true.
Why are you looking at me?
Just saying. When Democrats are in charge,
Got a lot done.
your clients did well.
Not us.
Not us. No.
Yeah, no,
No,
No.
yeah.
they do it for
We
the
were-
love, Javier.
We live in a swamp. Rich people don't live in swamps.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I mean, Shrek. After
on the way to our
Married
friends
the
getting
princess, they
rich,
probably had-
Minnesota legislature had a historic session, passed our earn sick and safe time. That I feel like I keep needing you in conversations I'm having or hearing, but people like to explain how this actually works because people are like,
I'm
"No,
happy
this is
to.
good." Yeah, I know. It's
Happy to.
So we paid family leave, driver's licenses for all. That was a campaign 20 years in the making. I was a part of that campaign for a lot of those years, and oof, that's amazing. Protections for abortion, gun safety, restoring access to the ballot to people who served their time and are out of prison. There were a ton of wins for children and families, we
Legalize weed.
You know what I was thinking about this just today about legalizing weed? Remember that time when before it was legal, but now I can say it because
It was
I can't-
accidentally legal?
No.
Oh, no, before even that?
The first time I made cannabis edibles myself, and then I ate a cookie, and I went to and I inadvertently got crazy high, and John Stiles had to come do the podcast.
That's right. Right. Was that when you got stuck at Target?
I got to Target and I got home. I got to Target and I was like, suddenly, because I was like, I ate the cookie and I forgot I'd eaten the cookie and I just wanted to run a quick errand. And then I was at Target and I was texting Karen Rotz and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't find the exit. I don't know how to leave.
Why'd they move the
Do
exit?
you
in
remember
this
the state
Target?
fair?
Yeah.
Where you got enamored with the Babe and Paul Bunyan?
Oh, yeah.
And then a podcast fan came up and he's like, you guys have been standing and staring at Paul Bunyan for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he went away.
Move it
and he
along.
came back. He goes, you're still doing it. You're still here.
So, which is to say, make the point that I've made before, that because there were lots of the sky is falling about cannabis, and the point is, a lot of people were doing it
It
already.
was legal by accident for a
legal by
while
accident.
before,
Yeah, that's
too.
true.
Yeah, but Sen Ben admitted
Thank
to
you,
that.
Senator
Sen Ben
Horst.
admitted.
Yes.
She did. She embraces it now.
Yep.
She admits it here, but not on Almanac.
It's safe here.
No, this is when she
Nice.
comes here. It's like slumming. But
like, okay,
no, it
yeah,
was
I
a
did
banner
that.
year. But and I can now admit that at one time and then John Stiles comes on the air and he spends all this time he kept doing Towley from South Park, the towel that gets high.
Oh, man.
Hi, you want to get high? I don't even know where I
That
am
must
right
have
now.
freaked you out.
Don't forget a towel. So that's what happened. So
man.
if I confess up now, that's what happened then. But now I just did what every reporter did, and like all this shit was passed, and all they talked about was cannabis. So
Yeah.
that and all these reporter lists, that being the number one story, I thought was bananas. Like the Star Tribune did it and whatever. They were like, that was the number one story of there were a lot more dramatic things that happened in the legislative session.
MinnPost held back a little and put it further down in their list. They were like, and then weed.
And then we haven't even gotten the dispensaries yet, so that's when the fun stuff will happen. But so it was a banner year for the legislative session.
And they didn't even need a special session. They got it all done.
They got their work done. That was weird. And then
there were three of
every
them.
other year I've been on Almanac, like we on the couch, we're like, why can't they get their work on time? Why can't they get their work on time? This last session was like, why are they working so fast? Why are they doing so much? Why are they passing so many bills? People were really mad. Yeah.
All right, should I
Your
talk
turn.
about? So next one, Hunter Biden, all over the news. So this is interesting. The New York Times recently did like a timeline. They said the timeline of Hunter Biden's life and legal troubles. This was December of 2023, so just at the end of last month, and it starts with February 4th, 1970. Hunter Biden is born. It was like, oh,
Yeah, and
Kind
isn't
of.
his brother?
kind of, yeah, kind of.
That dude is
Anyway,
younger than me.
No, well, he's 50. He's 1970. Oh, okay.
Older than
He's
me.
had a rough go of it.
He's had a rough go of it. Anyway,
Older than
I think
Amy.
I think the biggest stuff that came into question. I mean, obviously he has had lifelong addiction, which is not a joke for anybody, and it's reared up because like when his brother Beau died, but he left a laptop. He went to get repaired. Remember that? And there was a whole bunch of embarrassing stuff on there. But aside from that, there's some real questions about business dealings that he had overseas with China and Burisma in Ukraine, and what, if any, what if any involvement did President Biden had? President Biden even said, well, he's not done any and made no money in China, and then turned out yes he has. And there's also the partner, what's his name? Devin Archer, that told Congress behind doors that President Biden spoke to his son's international business associates for more than a decade. So I think that this is something that here's what I think. I think that it's something that will keep popping up as Republicans get into.
Are they
going
going to let him testify in Congress?
He said he would, right? He
Yeah.
said, "Oh,
he
come and let me."
showed up and said, "Let's do it."
We'll see.
They won't.
They should, but I don't know if they should just let him do it. What I would say is it's kind of like there's always a move to get like sort of tie relatives. I think what was the guy? Jimmy Carter's
brother.
Yeah.
Billy
Billy
Bear.
Carter.
Carter.
Roger Clinton.
Roger Clinton.
It's always a man.
Neil Bush. He was the SNL.
I knew you were going to do that.
He was the SNL, the savings and loan guy.
Yeah.
Now,
That's true.
Anyway, and I just don't think it works because I don't think that politicians are held responsible for every dumbass thing that their relatives do, except for Hillary Clinton.
Fair, right. I mean,
that's
and
'cause of sexism.
I'd say like,
she
I
was
think
held responsible for her husband.
the thing that's worried about is because
Also hers.
everything that has come out about it is absolute bullshit. Even like the China money stuff, everything's bullshit. Why Democrats
I don't
are
think you
and
can
should-
say it's bullshit.
Huh?
I
He
100%
cut a deal
think
that a
it's true.
judge said, no, that was too easy of a deal. I think that he has got
the
a whole
deal
bunch
had
of
nothing.
illegal
The
activities.
judge, but you're misrepresenting why the judge did that.
Well, she didn't do it because of President Biden. She did it because of tax evasion and fraud and all of those things.
Well, I think he's going to plead guilty.
That's not what.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't think it'll matter. He'll plead guilty, and Republicans will keep talking about it, and Democrats will keep talking about things that people care about, like abortion and inflation and things like that. And I think for you guys, I think it's a good soundbite. I think Fox News talks about it a lot. I think they find people to do polls to say, yeah, Hunter Biden. But when you dig in, I don't think people are going to the polls.
I agree.
caring.
I think that, but also what I will point out to, and when we can get to the polls in a little bit, we will. But that every poll in swing states has Donald Trump up, which is amazing to me. But every single one of them, and on the issues except for abortion, whether it's economy, whether it's defense, whether it's Israel, all of those have Republicans leading the polls as they would handle this better. And frankly, having Trump saying that he would be handling this better. So we can get to polls, but
Well, and
I'm just saying,
corruption in the
I don't
Supreme
think Hunter-
Court-
I actually don't think we need Hunter Biden. I'm amazed that the polls are showing what they're showing.
Corruption in the Supreme Court can't be important if corruption in the presidency isn't. So.
yeah, if there were corruption there, but like there's been absolutely zero connections. What I think there's less than zero. Not and there's a
who's big
long
guy?
list.
Who's
There's a
big
long
guy?
list of Republicans who've been saying.
I mean, The
it,
Economist
who've
has
said it.
Biden up 5.
But anyway,
In the latest polls, if you look at the polls of polls on 538, like Trump's not ahead in all of them. Nobody's talking about that in the latest polls that just ended January 2nd. But nobody's talking about it because that's not going to get clicks. That's not going to get people watching
We're gonna talk
places
about
like
polls.
Fox
Well,
News
yeah,
and
we're gonna talk
CNN.
about that one.
Yeah, but what I was going to say, like the reason that Democrats are and should be concerned about the impeachment probe is that if you look back to the Bill Clinton impeachment, like the investigation of Bill Clinton had nothing to do with Monica Lewinsky. It was a multi-decade the Rose
plan.
Law Firm
Yeah.
thing, whatever it was.
Whitewater,
which they found they'd never had any convictions on that. They found nothing there, but
Just
they
some
did.
bodies.
But they did.
Just some dead bodies.
What dead bodies?
around Whitewater.
Vince Foster
Yeah.
and that other guy.
Oh my God, you guys are Vince Foster like
That
conspiracy
was a long
theorists?
time. I gotta remember. I gotta go
That
back
dude
and check my
killed
cheat sheet.
himself. That dude.
Yeah, like Epstein, right?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. All right, let's
Okay,
stick
all right.
to the. This is
Sometimes I
going
think
too
they're
long.
normal, and then they and then
We're not all the
all
way
right,
normal.
are we back?
they're no normal.
Is it back to us?
Yep, back to you.
And perhaps the thing that would have been the biggest of the year, did we not live in a country that just doesn't care, is that Trump, who was the president and is still the leading candidate for the Republicans, was indicted over and over and over and over to the point
Just 4 times, just 4 overs.
that places have to say Donald Trump's criminal cases in one place. And one of those cases has already been decided, which I think people still get confused. He committed fraud in New York with the valuations of his companies and his taxes and things such as that. We're very concerned about Hunter Biden's taxes. We're not so concerned about Donald Trump's taxes, where he would say, this is worth this much this year. Now it's worth this much this year. He's been convicted. The decision was made. The trial where he keeps violating the judge's orders is only to decide what the punishment is. Do they break apart his companies? Do they say he can never do business in New York again? What happens? That's all we're doing there. He comes out every day and says, well, if they find me guilty. No, dipshit. They already found you guilty. And these stations that keep playing it, it's like, what are you doing? He is already guilty. A judge has already said, you are guilty of this. There is no world in which there's no evidence that exists that you could not be guilty. That's what summary judgment means. And so all we're doing is waiting for the decision in that one of what the consequences will be. Now, the rest of them, we still have to get to. And he claims that presidents can't be held liable for any crimes,
Right.
which I guess will be very helpful for Joe Biden if he did anything wrong, once that's the precedent that the Supreme Court sets.
Can we not have either of them?
Yeah.
So,
I think
Republicans should be ashamed that they can't get rid of this man, and they've had so many chances, and they can't get rid of him because they're afraid of him.
Well, but I think they're afraid of him because we're experiencing something in this country that we've not experienced before, that many other countries have, and that's the rise of an authoritarian populist politics, and Republicans have fed like the extreme elements of their party for so long, and now it's gotten out of control, and so then the like kind of normal headed the country club Republicans, like our friends here,
I don't know if I've ever been
There's
to
no,
it.
there's
Yeah, I
no
guess I've been to
swamp
the
in a country club.
Ma'am, did you not just fly on?
That wasn't
no,
her. That wasn't
that was
her
not mine.
thing.
I'm just saying.
The point being, economic Republicans versus the crazies. I'll say, just regarding like the public paying attention to this, I think like I think you're right, but people are mostly like have not been paying attention to anything, and so like that's it's hard to look at it about all the polling just generally, and I think that as these trials progress, and if there's a guilty plea, like we just don't know like what.
But the timing on that is going to be incredibly difficult because so many of them will not be decided until after, and then
he won't be sentenced in any of them,
right?
Like,
and then what if he wins the presidency?
Oh no, then we have a
it
dictator. So
disappears.
like just
disappears.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
yes. If he
course
wins
it'll
the
disappear.
This is
presidency,
the
he said
territory
that
we're
he
in.
will.
yeah, absolutely.
territory.
And the
Absolutely.
fact that people like Tom Emmer come out today and say it's time to rally around Trump is disgusting.
That's where we are. But that's going to
American
be
people
that's going to be the big story.
are in control of all of it, which is why I don't think. I mean, it's not authoritarianism. It's not a dictator because American people decided they wanted him.
Right,
and then
but
they
he's
decided
not.
they didn't
We're
want
not.
him.
We're not having another election if he gets elected.
That
like,
is literally
you
how
saw-
authoritarians
Did you
like
see
rise
what happened?
like
Yeah.
everywhere. This is like Orban.
Do you think the
like
people
the Nazis
of
for
Gaza
one like
would like Hamas to still be their leadership because they elected them once
Well-
and they didn't get to vote again?
I think that's silly. That
You think-
No, right. You
So-
also didn't think there'd
yeah.
ever be anything like January 6th, and you
Yeah.
were wrong then. You will be wrong
You
again.
also-
January 6th stuff has happened a lot of times. It's just that they won. I mean, the difference between an insurrection and a revolution is who wins. All right.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah. Yeah, these are last ones. Are you lost? Are
Which
you?
charges the most? I think it's the fraud in New York that's the most serious for him. Hits him in his wallet.
No, I think he'll go to federal prison
He'll go
if
to federal
he's
prison.
if he's convicted on any of the rest of them.
In the DC case, he'll
Yeah.
go to federal prison.
which
the
one in
Texas,
For Donald Trump for the
for
election
actual-
interference or the Georgia.
Oh, the Georgia one.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Georgia one.
No. The trial that by Judge Chutkin in D.C. That's the Jack Smith case about election interference and the insurrection itself. That case is.
You think that's the most serious?
I mean, I think they're all pretty damn serious. I think probably the most.
Well, the Stormy
most open,
Daniels
I think
is
if
the
he's,
most-
I
the
think
Stormy
if he's,
Daniels one
if
was a
he's
weird-
convicted in any of them, he will flee the country.
the open and shut
I would
one.
put big money on that. Now, do I think he's going to be convicted? I don't know. People are afraid of him.
Yeah, I mean, and I think he'll flee the country if he I think he'll be convicted in
He'll
at
go to
least
Russia.
one before the election. He may or may not if he wins, then that conviction will go by the wayside because we will no longer be what's left of being a nation of laws. But
You have a dark worldview. I mean,
So silly.
yes, and I've been right
So you
for
don't
4
think that
years.
he'll-
For, like,
I mean, this is because it's their party. They have all the control. And they
Don't
and Tom
control what?
Emmer.
We're not controlling We literally just finished about
the
Tom-
Nothing.
The Tom Emmers of the world could be standing on principle and saying this man is dangerous. We should not elect him, and not okay, guys. It's time to rally around it.
I would like Republicans. To
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That it would be,
When
and
you-
not
this
Republicans
man
like peons that
prevented-
nobody cares about like us. I'm saying like Republican leadership.
yeah.
right.
Yes.
all right. Happy New Year, everybody. There is a poll from USA Today, Suffolk University, and let's be serious. You know, we're all political professionals here. We can't talk about polling probably a day before the election, let alone almost a year before the election, and say that these are accurate. Polling has all kinds of problems. We are not in any way, shape, or form trying to say that these polling numbers are gospel. However, they are extraordinarily troubling for President Biden, and that is why it is our fifth and last story that we're going to bring up. So, like I said, USA Today, Suffolk University poll says Biden rings in the new year with Black, Hispanic, young voters abandoning him. And, no matter what we say about Trump and all the Trump things and about how silly Dean Phillips is being by running against him and all these things and Hunter Biden and all these other things, President Biden cannot win if he is hemorrhaging young people, blacks and Latinos the way this poll, for take it what it's worth, but what this poll indicates. And the poll does not say that blacks and Latinos and young people are running to Donald Trump. It doesn't say that at all. It is talking about how both Trump and Biden are being rejected by these groups in favor of third-party candidates, and that certainly when you talk about the tremendous numbers that Democrats have in the African American community, that when those votes are going to third-party candidates, they are definite Biden votes. So 39% of voters said that they approved of Biden's job, and 58% disagreed. The vice president is even lower at 33 and 57. If you look at some of these numbers, so this poll, when you just talk about the Republicans versus Democrats, the Republicans were up 39 to 37 with 17% going other. If you say Trump and Biden, Trump does better, where it's 37 Trump, 34 Biden, but
That's actually when you have Kennedy, West, Mapstead, and Stein.
And when you look at this poll talking about that Biden is getting 63% of the black vote, that's down from 87. That's a big number. He's down in this poll 5 points in the Hispanic vote, and he was up 33 at the last election. And Trump is winning 37 to 33 with voters under 35. These are poll numbers, and they're wrong. They're wrong. show me a correct poll and we'll give you $100. But this is extremely troubling for Biden. So all these other things that we're talking about and what a joke the Republican Party is, and the Republican Party is misguided on this, and this, the polling numbers are not putting Biden up on this pedestal as the shining beacon on the hill that the people of the United States of America are saying are the person that they want leading them into the future. And that is where Dean Phillips is 100% correct.
Well, and what happens is, 2016, we've talked about this before. If you look at the numbers where Donald Trump came within 1 percentage point of Hillary Clinton in the state of Minnesota. So that was the closest that a Republican has gotten in the state in, I don't know, since Nixon won in whatever, 72 that he won the state of Minnesota? But when you look at the numbers that Mitt Romney and Donald Trump didn't really, like Mitt Romney, Donald Trump didn't get a lot of more votes than Mitt Romney in the state of Minnesota. It was moved around a little bit. He got more greater Minnesota and Mitt got more suburban, but his numbers weren't that blowout. The difference is that a bunch of folks stayed home and Hillary underperformed significantly. Yeah. And if Biden underperforms significantly, I'm not saying that a bunch of people are going to run and vote for Trump. I think that lines are sort of dug in. You have, the Trump supporters are the Trump supporters. But if a bunch of folks sit home or vote third party, I think it's problematic for the Democrats this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely challenge. I mean, I think this year, I've said it before, it is going to be chaotic. They're going to be. I will predict that there will be multiple moments that will feel as cataclysmic as 9/11 or as other like seismic changes. It changes like this. I think there's Donald Trump is explicitly feeding, he's explicitly using the language of Nazism, and these trials. I think I think we will be very lucky if we get through the year without horrible political violence.
Well, there was political violence this week in Colorado.
Right.
Someone broke into and shot up the place. I mean, it happens every day.
Right. No, it's a dangerous place we're in. I'll just say, but going along with what Brian is saying, right, is that you at this point, what polls predict? I just did a little Googling, look back at Harvard Institute of Politics poll in December 2011 that says Harvard poll predicts Obama loss. A new national poll of America's 18 to 29-year-olds by the Institute of Politics at Harvard Kennedy School finds more millennials predict Barack Obama will lose his bid for re-election, 36 to 30%, and it shows Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney faring best among potential Republican challengers. I remember this very, very clearly at this point in President Obama's first term. I remember at one point texting or emailing a friend who I texted a friend who was working in the White House. I'm like, do you guys understand how bad it is for you right now? And she wrote back, yes, it'd be, people are on high alert, and it was like losing Hispanic voters was the big one, and I do not say this to say like everyone should chill. It's like Joe Biden is a very flawed candidate in many respects, and he is most certainly old. There's nothing we can do about that. But I think everything that we're seeing here are the opinions as expressed right now of people who have opinions, who is not, and like that's not most people, and before any campaigning has happened. Like the difference here, what happened, with Mitt Romney being seen best and he was seen as being better on the economy. That was before the case was made that he may be a businessman, but whose side is he on? And the Obama campaign did a fantastic job of defining Romney as someone who would fight for people like himself, not you.
I just don't think anybody's going to be campaigning. I don't think either of these candidates are going to get out there and campaign. I can't even imagine a debate.
I don't think Trump will ever do
there won't be a debate.
I don't think there'll be a debate. I
think Trump will say I don't want to debate, and I think
Biden will
Biden will
be cool. Yeah, who wants to debate?
Can we have an AI debate?
There you go.
Between the two of them,
yeah.
Shudder.
Whatever. All right.
Can we do an AI podcast? Let's create AI versions of ourselves.
How about we only have an AI podcast?
Free up our Wednesday evenings.
10 years, man. Woo.
Okay, Davis and
Long
I
time.
can be with AI hobby. AI Twin City Sugar in the Puerto Rican heat.
Look at me. I'm AI.
We've been going long. Are we going to do
really
Spanks and
hasn't
Thanks?
done that.
Are we doing Spanks and
You know
Thanks?
what
or are
I'm
we
doing?
just
I'm
gonna
I think
close
we're
out
going to
with
do plugs. Anyone have any
You're
plugs?
doing a good job. No, I have no plugs.
I have. I am going to be in Puerto Rico, January 27th,
For the Moth.
hosting the Moth main stage show. I'm super excited about it and doing a bunch of promo stuff for it this week. But that's me. So if anyone wants to fly down to Puerto Rico, I'll tell you how to get tickets. But otherwise, and then this year, starting immediately, the Moth will have. I think I said it wrong before. Will now have a monthly story slam in Minneapolis at the Parkview Park. I always get it wrong. Why can't I get the theater?
The Parkway.
The Parkway, that one,
Yes.
yes. The Parkway Theater, that will be every month, and then every other month there will be the one we have at the Amsterdam Bar in St. Paul. So there will be 1.5 times. So there'll be 50% more story slams for people to attend. So I'll be hosting those a lot more. But that's the big thing.
All right. Well, Amy and I have the BS show with Bob Sandsfear every Tuesday. I don't think I have anything else scheduled.
I'll bring some stuff back. I'll be on Channel 4 leading up to the Iowa caucus and beyond, kind of discussing that first big race, which I think is going to be, spoiler alert, Donald Trump. So we'll see.
Can we do a lightning round of Spanks and Thanks?
Sure.
All right. Let's go.
These are our 2023 Spanks and Thanks.
Yeah, whatever you want to.
My overarching spank for 2023 was Tommy Tuberville. He was stupid. He said with an astronaut in the room that he was the most what did he say, like the most military guy in the room, and he held up all those appointments and getting people their raises for nothing. He got nothing.
Okay. Do you have a think?
My thank is the DFL trifecta. Way to get it all done and get it done on time.
Yeah. And I'm not going to do this. I'll just do a thank. My thank is to the state of Minnesota. I have now lived here over 2 decades. I'm very proud of this state, and there's a lot. There are a lot of people. I met a woman at the Moth Story Slam who won last month, who lived in Texas, and she and her family moved up here because they have a trans child, and for that child's survival. And I'm just very, very proud of the way the state has come together, and the state flag, which, by the way, did you guys notice?
Oh, you got a sticker.
I got a sticker of the state flag.
Oh.
It's grown on me. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
That's all a state flag needs to be.
That's
It's fine.
100% true. Like,
And also, someone already made it into a tracksuit, and it looks good.
I saw it.
you're gonna wear it,
Good.
aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're going to be wearing
But was that copyright infringement for Gabe? Because didn't Gabe make something with you
did.
in a
Yeah,
Modeling.
he
yeah.
meant, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you
but,
modeling
but there's an actual
AI
guy.
hobby was modeling
Yeah,
it.
see, I know. People are reaching out to me and be like, "That is freaking me out. What's going like?"
You look good.
Yeah, but
It does look like you.
yeah, I am.
Okay, I have like a 7. I have just a whole. I'm going to first of all for 2023. Thank you, Sandra Day O'Connor. We lost her this year. She was icon. Spank, the city of St. Paul. We have a first dusting of snow, and the streets are almost completely undrivable. Oh, there's Javier.
There's
great.
There
Thank
he
you,
is.
T Swift, for showing the NFL how to do it. Spank, the presidents of Harvard, MIT, and Penn State. You guys are out of touch, lost in your woke
Out of jobs, some of
bullshit,
them.
and some of you are out of jobs. This is a spank and a thank. It's a spank for us, guys. I hate to say it, and a thank to my friend John from Alabama. And you guys actually served it up twice today, and I was waiting. It's pronounced Tuberville, not Tuberville. And so we are spanked. John pointed it out. He's a fan of Auburn.
What are we saying?
War Eagles. We're saying Tuberville.
But as a
We
college
sound
football
very
guy,
That sounds
Yankee.
that sounds stupider.
That's how they used to say
I've
it,
only
right?
heard Tuberville.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It sounds more goobery, and so I'm going to
Tuberville.
continue
It
to
does
say
sound more
Tuberville.
goober.
Well, you guys sound goobery.
Yeah.
War Eagles.
Fuck
Thanks Barbie. Thanks to the Minnesota Crop Improvement Association because they labeled yellow mustard cover crop, and now it can be used in crop art competition. And so with that, my 2023 spanks and thanks.
All right.
All right. My turn. Okay, so I just did regular spanks and thanks, so I won't do those. So I'm gonna do just a couple of thanks. My first thank is going to be to everyone who participated in my fantasy football leagues this year, where I had my best year ever.
You did. You
with
crushed.
2 championships, 2 second place, a third place, and I made the playoffs in every league. So I just want to say thank you for
Thanks, losers.
thanks, losers, huh?
How many do you play in?
Like 5, I think.
6, 7, and then I help out some people, Jenny and whatnot. But anyway, so I had a great year. So thanks for everyone for playing, because it's been a bit of a dry spell for me lately. And then my second thank is gonna be to you guys, because 10 years.
That's a long time.
10 years is a long time to do anything. So
Really, well, it's just you and I have been on it for 10 years.
yeah, you and I would do it. Well, I want to thank the podcast.
Well, I wasn't invited for a couple of years because of,
You were in hiding.
Yeah,
I wasn't hiding.
That
but
wasn't
also
it wasn't really our
invited.
fault.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You can't blame us for that.
Yeah. And I'm going to thank all of you for helping me plan a freaking party, because we keep saying we're going to do it, and we had a great
got
one
it.
way back
Do we have
when.
any Nada Dicks that you needed to?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Anyway, so thanks to you
I
guys.
doubt it because we've been.
We'll
on
get
for-
them next week.
Yeah, we've been on.
This was a special 2023.
okay.
But we should
and thank
tell
you to
people-
our patrons, by the way.
Yes.
2023,
Oh my God,
we
you
love
guys
you,
are amazing.
patrons. We're so appreciative
Yes.
of supporting what we do. We don't make any money here. This is all for the love of the fight and the debate and the discussion. And we really feel every year it's more and more important to be able to get us in the room and talk about things despite the rancor.
And I've said this about the
you make
Trump
that
years.
possible,
I've said
patrons.
this about the Trump years that Trump years made the podcast like a lot harder to do, but also it felt more urgent and important to do. And I think this next year is going to likely feel the same way. It's
gonna make 2017 feel
so
like
if you thanks for coming to a place where we yell at each other occasionally, but we genuinely like each other. Brian brought me the nicest gift. He got me a Stevie Nicks tote bag. That was the nicest thing.
Oh, remember the Team Puerto Rico baseball jersey I got you too?
Oh my God, no! That is the nicest thing. One of the nicest.
You're one of my
gifts I've
favorite people
ever gotten.
to give gifts to.
He got me.
What? And yet you guys fight.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Fine.
Yeah.
What would the show be if we didn't do that? That's the show.
All right.
The whole show is you
love
fight
giving you
and you're still
gifts.
friends. That's
I
the whole
love
show.
giving you
That's
gifts.
We've been doing it for 10 years, Amy.
Yeah, some of us have.
Not me. Only 8.
That's still a long time.
Anyway.
Yeah, you tell
Well,
them.
thank you all.
Finish telling them about the jersey I got.
Yeah, it's a Javi Buzz, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and it's because Puerto Rico was in the Pan American Games,
World Baseball Classic.
Baseball Classic.
Sports ball.
They were in something.
I literally this week he
Yeah.
posted something about University of Michigan. I'm like, why are you posting about University of Michigan? And he's like, they won the Rose Bowl. I'm like, oh,
Hooray!
my alma mater, hooray! I was totally following
Javier
it.
like, what's that?
No, I went there for grad school.
I know you did.
John went there too, yeah.
Yeah, no, neither of us had any idea that they must be freaking out there. But anyway,
All right. With that,
with that,
I am GOP strategist Brian McDaniel
I am.
and Twin City Sugar. I can't
Jesus
do that.
Christ.
It's all messed up.
I am Twin Cities Sugar, Amy Koch.
I'm
Taking it
small
for
business
2024.
attorney Davis Sensman.
I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican heat, Javier Morillo.
And we are
Wrong about
everything.
everything. Take us away,
Thank you,
Gabe.
everybody.
That's a good one.